Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today we will be reviewing the Pretty Please collection from Colourpop Cosmetics. You might be getting a little bit of deja vu right now because you're probably thinking, Judy, didn't this collection come out so long ago? And yes, you are right. I actually got this collection a few months back in PR and I did start filming my looks and everything. I filmed look 1, look 2, but then so many other collections came out that I put before this one because with my Colourpop reviews I want to review the collabs first, just because usually those are like limited edition and collections like this is more like core Colourpop collections, you know what I mean? They tend to last around a little bit longer than collabs. So a lot of things happen and I was like, do I want to like finish on this video? Should I just scrap the looks and just move on to the next collection? But I feel like this collection is really pretty and I really want to review it because the whole aesthetic and everything about it is just so me and I love it so much, and I think you guys know my style and you probably would agree as well. I did check on Colourpop today that the entire collection pretty much is sold out. The only thing that's in stock right now is the palette, so I was like, you know what? You guys can still watch this video and decide if you want to purchase anything when they do restock. You know, that's kind of like my mindset going into it. This is probably the latest Colourpop review I've ever done. I don't think I've ever been this late on a collection, but you guys know Judy's review. I got my comparisons, swatches, 3 looks, a whole collection review. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. So to get started on the review, I always want to give you guys a little breakdown on the collection, and this collection as a whole is actually not too big, which is nice. It's not as overwhelming, but of course first up we have the Pretty Please eyeshadow palette. This goes for 18 USD and it is a 12 pan palette in the bigger size pans. And then we have 4 of their color sticks, which I saw online you can't buy individually, maybe those sold out, but you can get it as a set for 25 USD. There's also 3 of their cheek dews, which are their serum blushes, and these are $8 US each. Next up we have their Fresh Kiss lip creams, also 3 shades, $9 US each. And if you wanted to buy the collection as a whole, that is 89 USD. And of course you can use my code JUDY at checkout for 10% off. Obviously, like I said, a lot of these things are sold out, but my code will work on anything on Colourpop's website. But that kind of was just a little breakdown. I feel like everything was straightforward, no new formulas. So with that being said, let's talk about the eyeshadow palette first. Isn't it so pretty? Like, first off, the outer packaging, the pink, the roses, the ribbon. It is giving girly cottagecore. I am here for it. What's really pretty about this palette is that you essentially get like 4 different formulas. So on the first row it's all Super Shocks. On the second row it's their satin formula, which essentially still works like a matte eyeshadow. It has a lot of little shimmers in it. But then on the third row we have the metallics, and then on the last row we have the darker mattes. I love the way this is laid out, and I also just love the color story. You guys may know that I'm going through a cool tone phase. I don't know if it's actually a phase though. I think it might be a forever phase, and this is serving all of the cool tone mauvey lilac vibes. I absolutely love this palette, especially these 2 rows here. The lighter rows I love. There's one shade that's called Pearly. You guys know my obsession with pearls, that when I saw that shade name I literally automatically was so obsessed. All the shades in here are so pretty, and I definitely want to play with this palette a little bit more. I feel like whenever I need like more lilac mauvey shadows, I definitely will be going into this palette a lot. I can totally see it already. I feel like I have honestly no complaints. Then let's talk about the color sticks. So I have used a few of their color sticks before. I did a whole review on it. I'll leave it up here. I feel like the color sticks, in a way, they're very hit or miss. There was one shade that I used today that was so dry and really tugging on my eyes. I think it's the shade Feminine Charm, but I think some of my shades are a little bit mixed up. I think if I was to recommend the color sticks, I would recommend the metallics. The metallics would work great as a base, as an all over color, one and done. Those are a lot more creamy and more pigmented, whereas the mattes, they can be quite dry and patchy and tug on the skin. So I wouldn't really recommend that. And like I also mentioned before, that I couldn't find these individually online. You can only get them as a full, and if it's like that, when there's essentially like 2 mattes and 2 metallics, I personally wouldn't recommend it like that. But the 2 metallic shades are really pretty because they're very like silvery, has like a lilac or pink reflex. So it's hard to recommend if you can only get in a set. If you can buy it individually, I would recommend the 2 metallic shades, and even for inner corner or egg style, that would look so great. They essentially are just like, you know, eyeliners. But then let's move into the serum blushes, the cheek dews, again in 3 shades. So you have the light baby pink called Summer Nostalgia, then you have the mid-tone mauve, which is called Parisian Chic, and then the deepest one is called True Romantic. So I do remember liking the Summer Nostalgia one. I think when it's a lighter shade, it does work out a lot better for me. And I remember trying these serum blushes like when they first came out, and I wasn't the biggest fan. They're not like my favorite kind of blush, but I do think they look great. I think for me with cream blushes and liquid blushes, it's finding the right application. I'm not a liquid blush girl or cream blush girl, so I don't think I'm like the right person to give a proper review. But from someone that doesn't really like serum blushes or cream blushes, I would only recommend the light pink one. And I also do think with the serum blushes, because they're a little bit more sheer, you could get away using the darker shadows. Even for someone who's like light to medium, you could easily blend it out. But yeah, I'm kind of like 50-50 on these. And then for the last items in the collection, we just have the Fresh Kiss lip creams. I really do like these. I do like this formula. I feel like, I don't know, I need to show the Fresh Kiss line a little bit more love. So the lip creams are essentially like a liquid lipstick, like a pigmented liquid lipstick, but they just don't dry down like matte. They kind of dry down a little bit more like satin-ish. So if you see a shade that you like within the 3, of course I recommend. It matches the collection perfectly. But yeah, essentially that was my breakdown and review on the entire collection. I would love to know what you guys think, but with that being said, we still got the looks to go through. So let's get started with look 1. First, I'm going to be taking the shade Floral Affair. We're going to apply this to our lids and then slowly blend that up into the crease. I do switch my brush around just to get a nice blend, but the shadow is the perfect cool tone, sort of lilac mauve. We are also going to run that all over our lower lash line, and this shade is technically a matte. It has little sparkles in there, but once you apply it, it is very subtle. Then we're going to move on to the shade Sweet Thing, and this is going to go at the outer corners of our eyes just to do a little bit of deepening. This is like a dusty grey type of shade, just really sweeping it left and right at the outer corner to get that diffused out. Also taking that onto our lower lash line, just using a defining brush. Now we're going to go into the shade Dear Diary, which is a Super Shock, and we are just going to apply that to the inner third of our eyes. This shade is so pretty. It's like an icy silver with a very soft lilac undertone, so it's very brightening on the eye. And because it is a Super Shock, it does have a little bit more of those micro glitters, which I absolutely love. And then we're going to go in with the color stick in Satin Ribbon. We're going to use this at our lower lash line to highlight, sort of like an eyeliner. Doesn't really glide on as smoothly as I would like, but it does give a really nice lilac iridescent to the eyes. So I'm going to take that into my inner corners as well. And we're just going to go back in with Dear Diary, that same Super Shock, and just go over that to enhance. Alright, so we have the first look completed. I wanted to play with the more cooler and lilac shades in the palette, and this is the look that we got from it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this first look as well. First, I'm going to take the shade Vintage Queen and just lightly I'm going to dust that all over my lid space first, just getting most of the product there. And then I'll slowly blend up into my crease once the product is mostly on my eyes. I do just want a light wash of this. It does go a little bit dark and I don't want this look to look too dark. Taking that same shadow, we're gonna run that all over our lower lash line again, just taking a light wash using windshield wiping motions just from left and right, swiping it back and forth. And now going into the shade Pearly, we are gonna focus this at the inner third of our eyes, and I love the shade name Pearly. That's so cute. And this is like an off-white lavender, like very lilac shade, which matches the palette so well. And I think it's the perfect inner corner highlight, so that's gonna be like the star of the show. I'm sort of gonna pack it on like I'm carving out my crease, so it really is just gonna be like a soft cut crease if anything. I just want to make sure around this corner here, like I'm really opening it up. Switching to a pencil brush, I'm gonna focus that on my lower lash line at the inner third. And then we're gonna go into Sweet Thing, and I'm just gonna be using this for my wing. This look is very simple, but I feel like it just defines the eye perfectly, like the right amount. We're also gonna do a little definition on the lower lash line as well. I personally like to do a straighter lower lash. I feel like that just helps to open up my eyes a bit more. And I'm actually gonna go back into the shade Pearly, and we're gonna put this between our wing and our lower lash line. But here we have the second look completed. It was a super simple, quick and easy eye look. I love how it turned out though, like just 3 eyeshadows, some mascara, you're good to go. Like I love how this look turned out. It's still a little bit lilac, but I would say definitely more like cooler tone leaning, so a little bit different from the first look I could say, but again, love how this look turned out. Hope you guys enjoyed this super simple second look. And finally, onto the last look. This one is inspired by Jenny's Met Gala look. It's a really soft lilac mauve eye look, and I thought we could recreate it with this palette perfectly. And we're going to be going in with a lot of the color sticks for this look. I'm going in with this shade first, which is called Feminine Charm. It says that it's a metallic, but I would say it's definitely a matte. I'm just going to apply that onto my eyes first. I'm gonna try to blend it out with my finger. On my other eye, it did go on really well, but it's feeling a little dry on this eye. I'm gonna go into the palette and take the shade Pearly, and essentially I'm gonna dust this all over that color stick base and just work it all over, sort of blend out those rough outer edges. And it kind of just tones down the color a little bit because Jenny's look is very light, and I feel like that base was a little dark. But I mean, it doesn't look that patchy anymore once you go over with eyeshadow. And then onto the next color stick, we're taking the shade Romance Novel. This is a creamy matte. Are the names wrong? Because this is not a creamy matte. I think they might have mixed up the packaging because this is a metallic. I think maybe the shades got swapped around, I don't know, but that's wrong. We're gonna use this in our inner corners though. The metallics are definitely a little bit more creamy and easier to work with compared to the matte shade that we just used. So I'm just taking that into my inner corner. I'm gonna drag it up along my crease line ever so slightly. Just going into the palette, taking the shade Dear Diary. Gonna use this to just enhance that inner corner a little bit. That's definitely the highlight of Jenny's look, is that lilac inner corner. Going back into the palette, taking the shade All the Frills. Just gonna lightly dab that all over my eyes just to get those micro sparkles, because Jenny's eye look is very metallic. And finally, going into the last color stick, this is the shade First Kiss. We're gonna focus this at the outer corner here. And this one is quite creamy too. I think it was just that first shade was like not creamy at all. And then I'll just go in with a flat top brush just to blend that out. Because again, this look is very soft, angelic, because it's Jenny. And here is the final look completed, again inspired by Jenny's Met Gala look. I love how it turned out. I feel like this is a really pretty soft spring look. I love all the micro glitter sparkling through and just like that hint of purple in the inner corner. So what do you guys think? Those were my 3 looks. I would love to know which look out of the 3 was your favorite down below. Again, I would love to know your thoughts on the collection as well. Did you already pick up this collection? Because yes, it did come out a long time ago, or are you planning to get something now once they restock? Let me know down below in the comments. But essentially that does conclude today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. Even if my reviews are so late, like I can't tell you how much that means to me that you will still want to hear my opinion. I do really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!